welcome to Your Mac Life for Wednesday, June 27th. It's the end of June already. Where did 6 months go? My name is Shawn King, joined as always by my beautiful wife,
Melissa King.
How you doing?
Good.
She just woke up from a nap.
I had a nap.
She had a nap.
I
She's
passed
so
out and drooled
cute.
on Shawn's pillow.
Lucky I love her. And I can flip the pillow over, too. On tonight's show, we'll talk to our good friend Jim Dalrymple of The Loop at loopinsight.com. He's got a post up on loopinsight.com. His first look at the new version of the Mac OS Mojave. The public beta is now available. Have you started Mojave? Have you installed it on your machine? Send me an email to onair at yourmaclifeshow.com. If you have any thoughts you want to give to us, talk to Jim about its stability, about the feature set of it, and whether he likes it or not. We're also going to be talking a little bit about this very interesting article that I read this afternoon. Basically, the difference in between helicopter parenting and free-range parenting. If you don't know what those two things mean, we'll describe them to you a little later on. And in our starting point photography segment, we're going to be talking about framing your composition. Last week, we talked about leading lines in your composition. This week, we're going to talk about how to frame your composition, how to use the environment around you to make more pleasing compositions. All that and more coming up. So today, our son, I love saying our son graduated from 7th grade. There was a leaving ceremony. And thank God I didn't go, because I just told him, no, that's stupid, I'm not going.
He did not. It's show day.
It's show day. But you went, and was it as painful as you imagined?
Oh, it's lovely. It's just a bit drawn out. That's all.
It takes like 3 hours to give out all these awards
So
and prizes.
many.
And by the way, congratulations to Rory. On a roll, 4 years in a row? And some other awards that he got. He's a good school. He's a good kid in a good school. He brought home his time capsule. When did he make the time capsule?
Grade 3.
Grade 3.
Yeah.
And now 4 years later, they give him
back,
back the time capsule. It was very cute. You reading the time capsule thing. But isn't this whole leaving ceremony thing? Isn't it? I mean, we hear about kids graduating kindergarten. Like, no. I've seen
preschool.
I've seen kids with mortarboards and the hat and little outfits on in preschool.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. You should get one graduation ceremony in your life. In your first graduation ceremony should be high school.
Yeah. You can get another one in university.
You
I
have
did
to
my
get another one
university
in university.
Yeah.
But your first one should be freaking high school. This great leaving ceremony. Jesus. He really wanted to stay home from school today. I wanted to let him just so we could avoid the leaving ceremony, but you can't.
No, he wanted to go. He just didn't want to go till later.
Macman, I can see in kindergarten. That's a big thing. No! Dude, no! They're kindergartners. They're 4 years old. They're not going to, the leaving ceremonies are for parents, not for the kids of that age.
And I was thinking, not that I'm upper middle class, but I was thinking it's a very middle class thing. I don't know if does your schools like in poverty areas do this kind of stuff?
Well, we certainly did. No, we were poor, but then again, it was also 30, 40 years ago. So maybe it's a new thing too. Maybe my old school back in Nova Scotia is now doing that. But they didn't do it when we were kids. But it doesn't matter who does it or why they do it. It's ridiculous to me. It's a waste of time. But then again, I'm an old fart who thinks kids don't need a summer frickin' vacation either. Vacation from what? At school! Parents need the vacation, not the kids. What do you think about that? Do you think kids need a vacation?
In Australia, when I was growing up, it was 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
And twice a year, wasn't it for you guys?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Just the big 6 weeks.
Macman, yeah, you're a crabby old fart.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, kids don't need a vacation. And I think the other part is
the teachers and the school staff that need the vacations.
Sure, fine. I'll grant you that. But the other problem is now parents need to find childcare all summer long for 2 months. They got to figure out someone to babysit their kids. I distinctly remember my first week back to school in at least junior high school and high school of not remembering a goddamn thing. I couldn't do math the first week. of September. It was a complete waste of a week. I couldn't remember shit about anything.
Yeah.
So why do we do it? Okay, let's say, and this is a good thing, let's say we can employ more teachers. Now we'll have two shifts of teachers.
Yeah, it is. MacMan's right. It's for the teachers to regain their sanity. But,
Then
I
get
will
new
say,
teachers.
I will say, working with children for as long as I have, little ones the same, is that a break, you see a difference in kids when they have a break. Because, I've been blessed to have my kids have more of a free range summer. They're not usually instructed. Get the kids away from the structure. They're done.
But the kids get a 2-week break in the springtime for spring break.
They do now, yeah. It's 2 weeks.
So let's give them 2 weeks in the summertime so everyone can go on vacation. And that's it. Go back to school.
Give them a month.
No, screw them. They're kids. They don't need a vacation.
But families need to be together.
Well, that's what I'm saying. 2 weeks in the summertime.
Month.
No, 2 weeks. All right, 3 weeks. We'll split the difference. 3 weeks.
Okay.
I just don't think kids need... And Rory's lucky that I'm not his real official dad. So's Damon. Because for me... I always knew that when I had kids, they would go to summer school. Not because they were bad or dumb, but they would go to summer school. They would continue to learn. You got a choice. You get a job or you go to school. And if there's no actual school I can send them to, Dad's going to give you homework. You're not going to sit around the house for 2 months playing video games and doing nothing. Mm-hmm. Dad's going to give you homework. Here's your assignment for today. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be... Here, I know I would do this. I would ask the teachers for a reading list.
I've done that. We do that.
What kind of books should they have?
Yeah.
And you're going to read this, and you're going to do a book report for Dad. We're going to sit down one night, and you'll do a book report for me. I don't want to say hard ass, but I want you to keep learning.
I have never, ever had a summer with either of my boys where we didn't go to the library and get a massive pile of books.
Yeah.
And they read all of them. Rory will read all of them. And then the library has cool programs where if you read so many books, you get to tick them off, although I don't need to do that with Rory. No, well, we can do some stuff like that if you want to.
Sherry says, I had to relearn how to write every fall. I
know,
exactly. That's right.
I know.
It's completely way. And MacMan says, Monty, it's a holdover from the time when the kids were needed for summer food, growing and working in the fields when we were an agrarian society, and Monty's wrong in that. That's not true. It's not, not the reason why we have summer breaks.
Oh, so why is it?
I'm not going to tell you.
Why?
Because I've forgotten. Because when I was looking this up, I realized that. And Monty says, I disagree that kids don't need a break. A break to just be kids
they
is important.
Need a break.
Yes, but they get that break every afternoon at 3 o'clock.
No, it's not the same.
Every day they get a break at 3.
You don't know. They got to come home, and then it's all this like dinner and all that. No.
No, that's what I mean. Is that we have too much structure for these kids.
It's too much.
At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, just go be a kid. Every single day, you can just go be a kid.
A lot of kids can't. They have to go to after-school programs.
Well, that's
because their parents can't pick them up till 6 o'clock.
There's another problem.
Whatever.
Let's have school go to 5.
Oh my God!
Let's have schools be the child care. Seriously.
Are you kidding
Why
me?
can't schools be child care?
They are.
That's what I mean. From 3 to 5. Because
a lot of the programs are at the schools.
In our job life, we work 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
So parents have to find out something to do with their kid from 3 to 5. Now, some kids like me, I just went home.
Me too.
I had little.
I was a latchkey kid.
Yeah, latchkey kid. Now, so if you don't want your kid to be a latchkey kid, well, then just,
Monty's right. We need to make sure Shawn never gets elected to public office. Yes. My goodness.
I disagree. I think we'd all be better off if I was a benign dictator.
But yeah.
You don't think? Really? You don't think
There's no such thing as a benign dictator.
Well, a less bad dictator.
A less bad dictator.
I'll find that article, Monty, about schools, about how we think that's because kids had to go to work in the fields, but kids still had plenty of time to do that. There was another reason why, and I'm trying to remember what the hell it was, but I'll find it for you, Monty. MacMan, let's just say I think you're full of beans in the subject after having had a parent as a teacher for 30 years. Well, I may be full of beans, but it's just an opinion. It's something I know. I certainly think it's better if kids don't stop learning.
Yes, but you seem to think that learning stops after they leave the classroom door. And
He
if
ain't learning
anything,
playing Fortnite. He ain't learning the
no,
goddamn
not
thing
right
playing
now.
Fortnite.
Not right now. He isn't. That he was out with Lucas late yesterday.
MacMan, lack of air conditioning. That's the reason why. No. That's why schools took that time off, was because it was too hot in rural.
Well, in Australia, it was hot.
It was too hot in rural schools for kids to go to school. That was one of the reasons.
Yeah. No, but Rory's not going to be in front of the video game all summer, whatever you call it. And there's a lot of learning that goes on. A lot.
Yes, but there's more learning in school. You got to agree with that. Because if you disagree with that, then by your logic, you should say he shouldn't go to school, because
they have outdoor schools now.
He'll learn more not going to school, which we know is not true.
So if he reads all summer and runs around and plays with his friends, plays Fortnite sometimes,
Interesting point.
He reads. He's the strongest reader in his class.
He's a very, very good reader.
In the school.
But reading without comprehension, I'm not saying he doesn't comprehend, but reading without comprehension and thought and thinking and book reports and talking about it to other kids isn't as effective as just reading a book by yourself.
Yeah, but I already know his comprehension is beyond high school level, so that's not a concern to me.
We're not disagreeing on Rory. I'm saying kids
in general? Yes, I agree, but I work in a very pressured system.
Yep.
And the schools, as they are right now, take on everything. They're dishing out medications. They've got behavior programs going on. They've got all the kids in the school trying to manage every single need of every single child and family. Enough already. Yeah. We have to start giving it back to the families. If you want to continue your child's learning over the summer, do it. But it shouldn't have to be in the schools. Figure it out.
I think this is just a way for me to hire more teachers. I think we need more teachers.
Yeah,
I think we need a triple teachers pay and give them 6 months off. And so 6 months on, you have one crew that works that 6 months, and the teachers get 6 months off. And while they're off, they're doing professional development, and they're substituting, and they're basically it's a sabbatical for 6 months, and they get paid 3 times as much as they do. Because I think teaching, there is no more important job in the second. This is the second most important job in the world. Being a parent, most important job, and teaching children is the second most important job, whether you're a parent or whether you're an actual teacher. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm slamming teachers on this. I think teachers are horribly overworked, horribly underpaid.
Not the whole school team, not just the teachers.
Everyone involved with those children.
Yeah.
Is in that situation. We aren't doing nearly enough to support those people.
There's no money. Yep. Where's Canada now on the level of educational achievement on the graph compared to the rest of the world?
We had to teach people civics. I had some guy arguing with me today that he said that the election, next election can't affect, or elections don't affect the Supreme Court. You're a moron. Don't worry about it. Moving on. Later on the show, we're going to talk about framing your subject in your composition, how to use natural and urban frames to make better images. We're also going to talk about a little bit more about this parenting thing. A really interesting article about helicopter parenting versus free-range parenting. A very funny article I saw. We'll talk about that. But up next, we're going to talk to our good friend Jim Dalrymple of The Loop at loopinsight.com about the Mojave Mac OS Mojave public beta, whether he liked it or not. All that and much more coming up. This is your Mac Life. Welcome back to Your Mac Life. I'm Shawn King. Thank you guys very much for joining me. On our phone, we've got our good friend Jim Dalrymple of The Loop at loopinsight.com. Jim, how you doing?
Fine.
Your head's in the fridge, isn't it?
It was.
Now, are you a good Canadian boy, even living down there in state? Do you have a beer fridge?
I do.
You do? Did you hear that study? It was about 3 or 4 years ago. Some government energy commission did a study and found out the biggest waste of energy in Canada is our beer fridges.
Yeah, screw them.
Because every house has got an old fridge in their basement or in the garage or outside, and because they're old, energy inefficient refrigerators, they're out there in the garage wasting a lot of energy. It just cracked me up.
That's why we buy them, because they're all full of that old Freon and stuff.
That's right.
That keeps the beer colder.
Exactly. Every week I'd go and chip the ice out of the ice box. Remember doing that when you were a kid?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I don't want one of those new energy efficient
That's
fridges
right.
for my beer fridge. No way. That ruins the whole point.
Yeah. It just cracked me up reading that story. The thing, and my first thought was, yeah, we don't care. You know,
Yeah.
we don't care how much energy we're wasting. It's our beer fridge, dude.
I would like to see the government come try and take somebody's beer fridge.
It's like trying to take guns from Americans. It'd be the same thing. With the same result.
Yeah.
We kill you dead.
Wow. Yeah, the beer fridge would all of a sudden topple over on top of you. Oops.
So Jim has posted up on the loopinsight.com website his first look at macOS Mojave. They released it as a public beta on Tuesday. And as always, I want to send out this warning to you folks. Make sure you've got a backup and don't put it on a machine that you need for work. All right? We hate hearing about people saying, it broke everything. Well, that's what it is. It's a public beta. Now, that being said, I'm very interested to hear from you and other folks who have posted the reviews about it. It seems quite stable, doesn't it?
It does seem very stable. Now, as Dave pointed out in a text to me, and I've seen different things myself, there are apps that unexpectedly crash. There are, things that happen. But you can't hold that against Apple in a first look because it is a beta.
Yep.
So that stuff will be fixed. I'm not about to write a story and say, oh my God, this is crap because the Stocks app keeps crashing.
Yep.
Well, I'll never open the Stocks app, so I don't care. And the fact that it crashes right now is not indicative of what will happen. So what I tried to do with mine was to take a look at the system overall and the things that I really enjoy using about it.
So that being the case, what's the point of you running the beta? If you know stuff is going to crash, if you know stuff isn't going to work, why bother?
Because I just want to keep up to date on what's happening with Mojave. Well, or as Canadians call it, Mojave.
Mojave, that's right. Mojave, Mojave public beta.
Nobody knows where Mojave is. And we're all looking at the maps and where the hell is Mojave?
Don't understand.
That must be in New Jersey or something, is it? Mojave, New Jersey?
Now, have you noticed an actual performance uptick? That was one of the big things that Apple has said about this. This is not necessarily bells and whistles upgrade for new features. They're focusing on bugs and performance. So that being said, is it a better performing OS?
So I think that iOS 12 right now is better performing than 11, but that's not hard to do.
Yeah, no kidding.
But iOS 12, since we're still in the beta stage, and people need to also understand that in the beta stage there's a lot of extra code and everything.
Yes,
that's in there that it's not there to intentionally slow things down, but because it's running all these processes to figure out what's going on and what's crashing, it does end up slowing things down a bit. Now, have I had any trouble with speed? No. I haven't. I mean, I've been using all of the apps that I normally do. And like I said, every once in a while, something will unexpectedly quit,
Yep.
and you restart the app and everything is fine. Until the next time it does.
Have you found
But-
any apps that you use on a regular basis that actually will not work under Mojave?
No, everything that I use.
Because that's always
It's
an
still-
issue for you audio guys, and also obviously for video and photography folks. If you're so tied into this one activity, in your case audio, it can be kind of terrifying to go out and do this public beta stuff and hope that there's nothing in it that breaks all your audio apps.
Well, to be clear, I am very stupid. I've done many things in my life to show that how stupid I really am. I am not that stupid. Because if I loaded that on my music machine,
Yeah.
nothing would work. So the MacBook Pro that I have this loaded on is just my everyday writing machine.
Yeah.
And my music machine it's still on Sierra.
Yeah.
It's not even on High Sierra.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's I can say for sure audio stuff is broken.
Yeah.
Because it always is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But I haven't even opened up GarageBand on the Mojave machine. So, first they have Yosemite, now they have Mojave. We have no idea what's going on in Canada.
Now, one of the things that you said that really surprised me is that you said one of the first features you tried was dark mode. I'll be honest, I didn't expect to like it, but I do, which was surprising. Why is dark mode surprising to you? Why did you not think you'd like it, and why now do you like it?
I didn't think I would like it because all I've ever tried in dark mode is dark mode apps.
Yeah, same with me. Yep.
And dark mode apps are they're fine.
Yeah.
But you always have this white background or whatever in the background, and other white apps that are kind of shining at you all the time. So it was kind of distracting.
Yeah.
But with dark mode across the board, you seem to be able to focus a lot more. And Apple did dark mode, I think, in a very good way because they used a variety of shades of dark.
No.
So, for instance, if you look at the headers on an email, that's a different shade than what the body of the email is. Mm-hmm. And so you're able to still pick out details, and there's still shading and stuff in there. So there's some very subtle things that they did to still differentiate things in the UI so that you're able to see it. But where you can really tell is looking at audio waveforms and looking at different things, time sliders for video, pictures, even your calendar. Everything that has a little bit of color or that white text just pops right out at you.
See, I'm really interested to see this for myself, because for me, I'm the same as you. I've only ever used dark mode in individual apps and never left it on very long, found it annoying. I will occasionally use it on my Twitter client at night when I don't want to wake up the wife when I'm in the middle of the night and wanting to read Twitter, so I'll use it then. But that's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You read... That is just, I want to hang up. What?
I want to hang up.
Why?
You're laying beside your wife and you're reading Twitter in bed.
Well, I'm talking about like if I wake up in the middle of the night with the cold sweats because I'm married.
Okay, then go back to sleep, or hang yourself or do something productive. Don't read Twitter.
All right, fair enough. But from the examples I've seen of dark mode, I don't even like the visuals seeing it on someone's screenshots. I just do not like dark mode at all. And I don't know if it's my new glasses or whatever the story is, but I'm really interested to see it. I was surprised to hear how much you liked it.
I think that's why I saw the screenshots and I saw them, do the demos. And I think that's why I thought, I'm not going to like this. Yeah. I'll give it a try because I'm testing this, so
Yep.
I'll give it a try and see. I turned it on and I haven't turned it off yet.
Huh. Interesting.
It's been on for how long have I been running out? Like the week after WDC,
Yeah.
so 2 or 3 weeks or whatever it's been, almost a month, I guess.
It really surprises me.
I haven't turned it off, and when I go to pick up my computer now, when I go to pick up my MacBook Pro, and it just feels natural that it's in dark mode, and then I go into my music computer and hit the button on the screen and it shines at me, and I'm like,
That's right. My eyes. Yeah, so it's good. Yeah, I am looking forward to trying that. The other thing that you were impressed with, and bizarrely so, is Stacks. Stacks just cleans up the clutter. Why is everyone so excited about Stacks?
Because I have so much clutter, I can't find anything. I am a very cluttery person. It is so true. I have clutter everywhere.
But the issue is, if all Stacks does, and correct me if I'm describing this wrong, is just piles on top of each other, all your JPEGs, and in your case, all your PDF files and that kind of stuff, then how do you get to the third one in the pile?
So if you like when you click on the downloads folder,
yes,
it kind of pops up.
Yes.
Well, if you click on the stack, it will unravel that stack so that you can see everything.
And that's useful for you? You find you can navigate with that?
Oh, it comes up. It comes up as full icons.
Yeah.
So you can see what it is. So now I don't have to look through PDFs, documents, images, and everything. I just click on the images stack, and I have 20 images that are there, and they come out, and I say, "Oh, there's one I want right there." Otherwise, I'm looking at a desktop folder or a desktop that has files everywhere, and there's so many that they're stacked double and triple on top of one another now, and I can't find anything. So then you have to go to a folder and open up that window and sort it by date and try and remember when you did it because you don't know the name of it. No. Yeah, this is just a lot easier.
See, for me, I guess maybe it's, and I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else, but I keep my desktop very organized already. There's very few things on my desktop. I always put stuff in their proper folder. I don't save things to my desktop. I save things to the folder it's supposed to be in. So if I save a PDF, it's saved in the PDF folder. If I save a picture, it's in the picture folder. You know what I mean? So for me, that's why.
Well, I guess we've all learned a lesson tonight, haven't we? Jesus
but isn't
Christ.
that the way we're supposed to do stuff?
I feel bad enough about myself as it is. You don't need to make me feel bad about my desktop, too.
I know for a fact, though, my wife Alyssa is going to love Stacks because she's the same as you. I look at her desktop, and it makes my skin crawl because there's just icons everywhere. You can't see her background picture because of all the shit that's on her desktop.
That's mine. And that's also my actual physical desk.
My real desk is exactly that. It's a shithole. I can't find anything on my real desk. I agree with you there. Yeah, Sherry in the IRC chat room says, my 27-inch screen at work is full of icons. So you're not the only one.
Yeah, well,
You said
I like it the way that it is. And the thing is, in real life, I know where things are in that mess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In real,
yeah,
that's right. If I need that thing, I can reach over and grab it almost without looking.
Yeah.
You said something else that was interesting to me in your piece up on loopinsight.com. One of the things I respect Apple for the most is security and privacy, and in Mac OS Mojave, the company is doing even more to protect us. Explain that.
So, one of the really interesting things that I didn't know was how sophisticated and how nasty these ad companies are.
Oh, God, yeah.
In the way that they track you.
Yep.
So, Apple talked about this during the keynote, but this I found absolutely fascinating, that they will when you visit a website and you don't have tracking turned on,
Yes.
what these companies are doing is capturing a profile of your computer with any unique fonts that you have, any unique characteristics about your computer, so that they can try to identify who you are, not who you are personally, but who you are, so that they can serve you ads. And I didn't know that it was that sophisticated that they could do that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm being strafed here.
Get under the bridge, hurry.
So what Apple has done to thwart that is, when you visit a website with Mojave, it sends the website very generic data, like the system fonts and what your computer is, but that's it. No special characteristics.
Yeah.
So now they can't even track you using that. And I believe that that's called fingerprinting.
Yes, it is.
Where they try and build this profile of your system. So the next time you come back or come to one of their sites that they work with, they can say, look, there's Shawn again.
Yep.
He's after that motorcycle and porn.
Yep.
So
yeah, which is fair.
So then they can target things. I don't know if it's more of a hope at that point, or if they're so good, and it seemed like they're so good that they can actually do it. So I mean, it's things like that as an individual, we look at and say, okay, I have tracking turned on. I really don't want to go to Amazon and look up a new frying pan.
Yeah.
And then see a frying pan on every website
I know.
I go to.
It's insane.
And if I look at something on Amazon, and I was looking at a new frying pan. So I'm just one of the most exciting people on the face of the earth.
You really are.
Looking at a new frying pan. So I was looking at a new frying pan, and then I started getting emails from Amazon about, here's some other new frying pans.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yep.
Stop. I only looked at it. So.
Well, it's even worse when you buy something and then you still get the ad for it. It's like, piss off! I just bought it.
Yeah. I wish that wouldn't happen.
It's as MacMan says, go look up Super Cookie and it'll scare the shit out of you. And it's true. they're building this profile of each of us, and it's another example of how these ad companies, under the guise of wanting to sell us more targeted ads, and they make it seem like more targeted ads or better targeted ads is a good thing for us. But it's not. We don't want this kind of targeting. We don't want this invasion of privacy targeting. I have no problem if Amazon says to me, you tell us your preferences, what you like, and we'll show you ads based on those preferences. That's great. Just don't follow my ass all around the internet.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like. When I would go on Amazon.com, yes, please, by all means, show me things I might be interested in on Amazon.com. But not when I go every other place on the internet.
Well, and the other thing that they're doing, and again, this I didn't know, if you go to a website that has the like buttons and from Facebook and stuff like that, I was always under the impression that you had to interact with those buttons and they start tracking you.
That's right.
And I used to have those on the original Loop, and I took them off. I wanted nothing to do with them. But I didn't know the lengths that they could go to. So if you're logged into Facebook or any of those other services, they can track you just by visiting that page.
Yeah.
And I mean, geez. So Apple is also disabling that.
Mm-hmm.
If you interact with the buttons, then you're fair game.
Yes.
Because you're making a decision at that point. But if you don't interact with the buttons, they shouldn't be able to track you.
Yep,
but they do.
They do. And then the next thing that happens is, as soon as Apple starts doing this, they start whining about the fact that Apple is blocking this sort of thing. But if the ad companies have been upfront from the beginning, and if they'd followed with the do not track stuff, and they had listened to the users, Apple wouldn't be doing this. This is their own fault. The ad agencies, the ad publishers. Jim's got his head in the fridge again.
I'm out of beer. No, I'm not out. I got lost.
Just out of it in your hand is what you're saying.
Right. Yeah.
I have zero sympathy every time you see one of these stories come up, and there's always a quote from the ad publishers saying, "Oh, this is going to ruin our business." Yeah, well, guess what? Screw you. It's your own damn fault, and we as users have zero sympathy for you.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much it at this point, isn't it?
It is.
We don't have a lot of sympathy, and I don't think that there's anybody out there that does. Now, I understand as much as anybody that you need revenue in order to make a business run. I get that.
Yep.
But I try and do that in a way that is respectful to the users, that, isn't, doesn't take the page 10 minutes to load, and you're not loading 2 gigs worth of stuff onto your computer.
That's
and,
right.
I try and be respectful of that, and I hope people will be respectful of what we're trying to do.
There's a right way and a wrong way to do this, and the ad publishing industry has consistently done it the wrong way. They've done it in the most user-unfriendly way possible. And as they continue to do this, more and more, Apple's going to be the company, it seems, that cares about this stuff and will be on the side of the user to block these sorts of things. Because, as Apple keeps saying, they're the ones who don't need your data. Apple is the one of the few, if only, of these consumer electronic technology companies that doesn't need your personal information in order to have a business model. Facebook does, Instagram does, Google does, Amazon does. They all do. Apple doesn't, and they have that advantage.
Well, and I mean, there's still the situation. All the people that use Facebook, and all of the people that use Instagram, and people say, when I ask them if what social networks do you use? Well, I don't use Facebook.
Yeah.
Do you use Instagram? Yeah.
Guess what?
Hey, moron.
Yep.
So they're going to find a way to track you one way or another.
Sure.
And, buying Instagram was very smart.
Mm-hmm.
It gave them a ton more data. And, they're going to continue to use that.
Yep, that's right.
So when you're on Facebook's site or Facebook's app, you're being tracked to everything,
mm-hmm. Yep.
everything you do, everything you touch. Oh my God, that's a good beer.
Folks, go to loopinsight.com and read Jim's first look at macOS Mojave. One of the stories that was posted last week, Apple launches a keyboard service program. For MacBook and MacBook Pro. It's interesting to watch the media jump on this in any number of ways. One media outlet said, this is Apple admitting that their MacBook and MacBook Pro keyboards are bad. What's your take on this?
Well, I actually talked to Apple before that went up.
Yep.
And they were very specific in telling me that it was a limited number of units. Now,
yeah, they always say that, though.
Well, it's easy to say. I know that, but think of how many keyboards they have out there.
Yep.
I don't think it's reasonable to say that half of the keyboards are bad, because there would have been like a revolt or something.
Yep.
You know, I never had any problems with the keyboard.
Yes.
And I've got, God, it must be 4 computers with that keyboard. So I never had a single problem.
Yep. So you don't think you're the outlier. You think you are the average user.
Right. But, you know, it's the 80-20 rule.
Yes.
You know, so 80% are doing fine. I would say even more. And probably 99% are doing fine. 1% are having a legitimate problem. And I'm not trying to say that those people are not affected in some way by what's going on. Clearly they are. And I'd be mad as hell if I was affected too. But I'm just saying that I don't think it's as big as what people would have you believe. And I don't think that, well, I know for a fact Apple isn't admitting that we have a problem.
Yeah.
They're just saying, hey, we understand that there's you know, it's a group of people that are having this issue. Some people have already fixed it.
Yep.
And we're going to pay you back for that. And if you're having the problem, come on in and we'll fix it for you.
The keyboard itself has caused a lot of discussion. It's a different style of keyboard, and one of the things that I've always recognized is that keyboards, like mice, are intensely personal. It's something that, for a lot of us, we have in our hands 8, 9, 10 hours a day. I mean, I'm touching my mouse and my keyboard constantly, so it's got to be exactly right, and if it's not, it kind of throws you off. I still remember being in love with the old ADB keyboards and that big clunky sound they got. So I know how people can fall in love with their keyboards or hate their keyboards. Is part of the problem the fact that so many people don't like this new butterfly keyboard that Apple has? I've never used them, so I don't know.
Okay, so there's a couple of things. No, I don't think that's the problem.
Okay.
I think that there's an actual issue with some of the keyboards that is causing a very real problem for people. It's not that they're just not used to it. There's an actual problem for some reason on some of the keyboards, which is why Apple is going to fix it. I've had people write me and ping me on Twitter and say that I should, you know, call Apple out for doing this. Yep. And I said, you know what? We have posted stories about it.
Yep, we have. Yep.
But I don't have this issue. If I had this issue, then I could know more about what's going on. Yeah. But I've got 4 of these computers and I don't have it. So there are actually 2 types of butterfly keyboards. One was on the original MacBook. Mm-hmm. You know, the MacBook with the new keyboard, obviously. Yeah. The gold one or rose gold one or whatever. And it was really odd to me, because there was also like no travel space in the keyboard. Yes. You were just typing, and it was like, it's almost like you were typing on the iPad screen.
Yeah,
like
it throws you off.
Travel space at all.
Yeah, really weird.
So, in the second iteration, they put a bit more travel space in there, like a millimeter or something, you know, but just enough so that it would tap. And I really like them. Mm-hmm. I like it because it's bigger keys. Like, the keyboard is the keyboard. It's not, you know, a bunch of metal in between keys, in between small keys. Why not have big keys? So I really like the keyboards. Now, I actually had somebody ping me on Twitter and CC'd somebody else, and I forget who it was, maybe Marco or something, that said, there is no additional travel distance in the keys. That's like a myth or something. And it's not. I spoke to Apple about this, and they said, yes, we did put a bit more travel, you know, when you press down on the key, that it actually moves a little bit more than on the original. So they did tell me that they did that on purpose. So, but I love the keyboard. I really do.
Yeah, I've yet to try out one, so I've never had any kind of opinion one way or the other, but I have been reading with interest everyone's comments about this kind of stuff.
Well, so one of the main differences, when you put your hands on the keyboard, old keyboard, new keyboard, whatever, and you would hit the corner of a key,
Yes,
and it wouldn't register, a space or a letter. It
Yep.
wouldn't register because you kind of hit the corner and tap that down. That isn't because necessarily the size of the key, although I believe that certainly helps. It's because of the mechanism that's underneath the key. The key would bend sideways. When you hit it on the corner,
Yep.
it would bend sideways and go down, but not actually register because you have to hit it in the center.
the center.
But with the butterfly keyboard, if you hit it on the edge, it will go straight down and register a keystroke. So I find it a whole lot better, and the keys are a lot bigger. And this is one of my main complaints with the iPad smart cover keyboard. Why are the keys so damn small?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of space in between the keys. Why is there all that space? Make the keys bigger. See, now you got me going on a rant about keyboards.
Are you a
touch?
touch typist, or are you a hunt and pecker?
I'm a fast hunt and pecker.
I was curious. I've often wondered if there's any correlation between that and this keyboard issue, because I'm a hunt and pecker too. I'm not a fast hunt and pecker, but I'm looking at every single key as I type, and I've often wondered if there's a difference in the keyboard feel for folks who don't have to do that, who are touch typists like Sly.
Well, when you get a real typist that can fly around the keyboard,
Yep.
those are amazing people.
Oh,
to
I know.
watch.
I know.
I can't do that, but I know just from 25 years of doing this, I know where the keys are.
Yeah.
So I can type like write a story like the Mojave first look, and most times I'm not looking at the keyboard at all,
Even though you're a touch typist.
Yeah, because I'm just going, and it's muscle memory.
Yeah.
I know if I'm going to type the word there, I know where THERE. So it's kind of quick. I'm still not fast. Fast like the touch typist, the real typist.
Yeah.
But I'm fast enough for me. Now, if you change the keyboard, I'm screwed.
Oh, exactly. Or move it 2-3 millimeters to the left. I'm done.
Yeah, I'll be giving you gibberish.
Exactly. Folks, we've been talking to Jim Dalrymple of The Loop at loopinsight.com. Check on his review, first look of macOS Mojave public beta. And again, another warning, don't install Mojave unless it's on a backup machine. And even then, make sure you've got a full backup, because there's no telling what could happen with this. Most likely nothing, but you don't want to take the chance. Thanks, Jim.
Right. Thanks, Shawn.
Talk later. See you, buddy.
Bye.
Bye. Folks, when we come back, we're going to talk about framing your composition, how to use natural and urban environment to better create images, as we always do. All that and much more coming up. This is Your Mac Life.
Hello, my name is Melissa King. I'm Your Mac Life's official spokes Australian. As Shawn begins his 25th year of broadcasting on the internet, he has asked me to say a few words to you all. Send money. What? Why not? More? Okay. When you listen to Your Mac Life, you'll notice there are no ads, no commercial breaks, no 5-minute ad reads for products you've already bought or have no interest in buying. That's because Your Mac Life is entirely listener supported, and not even listener supported via a paywall or a subscription service. It's simple. If you like Your Mac Life, you can pay for it. If you don't want to pay for it, you don't have to. You can still listen. But we'd really like it if you did. On the Your Mac Life homepage at yourmaclifeshow.com, on the top left, there is a subscribe to YML box. You can send any amount you'd like each month automatically from your credit card or PayPal account. It's set for $2, $5, $10, or $15, but you can set it for any amount by clicking the donate button. The best part is you'll barely notice it. It's $2, but it makes a huge difference to us here at Your Mac Life. It means we can pay for website hosting, internet access, new computers and software to run the show on, and so much more. So, if you like Your Mac Life, please subscribe. $2 will make a tiny dent in your wallet, but when enough people subscribe, it makes a huge difference to Your Mac Life. I'm Melissa King. Thank you.
Almost blew up there. Sorry. Welcome back, folks. This is Your Mac Life. I am Shawn King. Thank you guys very much for joining us here, whether you're tuned in live or you're listening to the archive. If you are a live listener, send us an email to onair@yourmaclifeshow.com, or if you want to send us emails during the week, you can always send us emails to Shawn@yourmaclifeshow.com. In this segment of the Starting Point Photography segment. Yeah. Thanks. I'll fix that in post. Last week we talked about leading lines, how to use real and imaginary lines to draw your viewer's eye into the shot. And this concept of framing goes along with that too. It's the idea of using objects in the environment to frame, like literally frame, as in picture frame, the thing that you want your audience to look at. And it does the same thing as leading lines. It draws your audience's eye directly to that spot. You can see it happening in images. Do you know what vignetting is?
A vignette is a small story, isn't it? A little vignette.
Yeah, you're right. It is. It is. We saw it a lot on old-timey photographs, those old oval photographs, and there was the darkness around the edges. That darkness around the edges, or even lightness around the edges, is called vignetting. And you can create vignetting in Instagram photos and Snapseed photos and in the editing that you do. And what a vignette does, and you can very easily see it by increasing the vignette, by making it darker or making it wider, you can see how it forces your eye to go to the center of the image.
They used to do that with Doris Day.
What?
She always had a misty vignette around her face. I did.
And so you can use framing in the natural environment. I've used it when I'm in the woods, the rare occasions I'm there. You can use it it's especially easy to use in cities, because cities have doorways and arches and things that you can use to frame the image and draw the viewer's eye towards it. And I'll show you some examples of it here. The most obvious example, where to go? Oh, don't tell me you've lost the picture. Oh, I hate you. 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 It's a Wirecast problem. Hang on a second. Hang on. I got to find the photos again. And I got to do this, and I do that. I hit that button. I open the photos up, and oh my goodness. So for the time being, I'm going to hide, and then hide, and then just a second. Change desktop background to nothing but black. Oh, God. Desktop black. There we go. Now go away. Okay. Oh, and you're going to do it that way too. Oh, I hate you. So here's an idea of using an arch. So, and you can see these arches anywhere you travel that's got historic buildings. The arch is one of the, I think the arch was the first architectural detail man ever thought up, because it allows you to build over top of spaces. I could be completely wrong on that, but an arch does a wonderful job of framing the thing that you want the audience to look at. So whenever I see an arch, if I'm walking around and I see that shape of an arch, I start looking through it to see if there's something I can take a picture of, because I know the arch will automatically help the picture look better. And notice how the arch is, in this image, the arch is dark, because the arch doesn't matter. It's the idea of the detail in the arch is not part of the photo. What's important in the photo is this castle tower in the distance. So if, for example, you used a flash on this image and the flash lightened up the dark parts of the arch, it would ruin the shot. It wouldn't be nearly as good, because then that would be distracting. So look for these kinds of arches and doorway kinds of things. Speaking of doorways, there was a, let me see if I can't find the, I guess I didn't have one. I thought I did. Here's another example of using an arch. No, you lost that picture too. You fucking back. Another example of using an arch in a historical setting. And in this case, there's two elements to the image. There's the dome off in the distance, but then there's also the young lady in the foreground. And you're using the arches to frame both of those. Now, in this case, because of lighting issues, you can see inside the arch. And I would rather not see inside the arch, because your eyes are going to go to the elements of the arch, and you're going to look at the individual elements of the arch. How would you solve this problem, Melissa?
Oh, you mean if I had a chance to take it again?
Yes.
If I had a chance to take it again, so I don't know, I think it has something to do with f-stop.
Yes, it kind of does. It also has something to do with exposure compensation.
No, I don't know that.
In this image, you and I have talked about this before, your camera wants to make everything the same color. It's called 18% gray. It wants to make everything, so it'll make dark things light and light things dark. So it wants to make everything the same amount of light. If you force the camera to do a light reading, right now on this shot, it's doing a light reading on the entire image. If you force the camera to do a light reading on just one spot, it will make that one spot perfectly composed, and then it will adjust the rest of the image in the way that will compensate for what you've done. So in this case, I would take my exposure compensation and put it on the dome of this church or this building. I think this is the Geronimist Monastery in.
What do you mean take your exposure composition?
There's a button. There's a button on. There's two ways of doing it. One of the ways I would do it is the light meter reading. You can do three different kinds basically of light meter reading. I'm trying to remember, evaluative light meter, center weighted light meter, and spot light meter. Evaluative, it looks at the entire image, evaluates the light for the whole image, and makes adjustments based on that. So it wants everything in the image to be well lit. Center weighted means the center, that little circle or square in the center of your shot, it's going to give more prominence to the light in that area and not ignore, but give less importance to the light elsewhere. And spot metering means just meter on this one tiny itty bitty spot in the center of my frame. So I would spot meter on the bright dome of the church, and it would make everything else dark. And because she's in the same kind of light as the church, she would stay well lit, but the arch here would get dark. Now, this is not a beginner tip. This is not a tip that the average person can use, but that's how to solve this issue of making your arches dark so they are frames as opposed to being part of the image. And it's something that we'll do in Lisbon. This is something that this is the Geronimist Monastery in Lisbon. We can stand in this spot and I can show you how this works in your camera. This is a DSLR trick. This is the same thing that you do. I've shown you this on your iPhone, where I tell you to tap and hold on a spot, and then you can slide the slider up and down. What would happen is you would slide the slider down, the center spot would still say well lit, but the outside of it would get darker. Another example of this is just using natural frames. This is the April 25th bridge in Lisbon. And this is just using the tree branches around the area. It's not a great shot. It's a parking lot. There are better shots of this particular bridge, but this is the idea of using natural things, tree branches or bushes or whatever it might be as arches to frame your shot, to draw your eyes to the
People
shot.
use fence posts.
Fence posts, exactly.
Or, they're looking through something like that. I saw one yesterday like that.
Anything along those lines to draw the eye directly to where you want the person to look can help. If this shot had been taken without those trees, same parking lot, your eyes would look at the cars. They would look all over the place. Look at the sky, all that kind of stuff. But because they're framing the bridge spire, the bridge span tower, you're looking directly at the bridge tower. Another example of that kind of framing is we've shown this area of Lisbon before. This is the pink walkway. It's called.
Oh, I thought it was
the
called
Pink Street. Pink Street. And in this regard, that arch above her head is framing her. And it's drawing your eye to her. Even though you've got a lovely background there and wonderful yellow on the side of the building, on the side of the bridge, your eyes are being drawn to her because of that slight arch there. In this one, the lighting is good all the way through. You don't got to mess the lighting in this one because your eyes are automatically being drawn to her. And I think it's a really this is a really pretty shot, if only because of the colors of it, the blue and the yellow and the pink and her beautiful skin. I think this is a great shot for that kind of stuff. This is another example of using arches inside arches. Here is, you can see the outer frame of this shot is the square at the very top, at the very edges of it. But then you've got another circular arch inside of it, followed by arches inside the arches, and then you've got 3 arches. So there's a whole bunch of things, and your eye kind of steps down into the photo. You kind of go from this arch to the next arch as your eyes move into the center of the photo. This photo, I think, would be even better if there'd been someone in the middle.
Is that what's inside of there?
That's
seat or something?
There's seats on the left and right. That looks like a water fountain.
Oh,
in there. Can I? Sorry, I lost it. That might be a water fountain. Can I zoom in? Yeah. Looks like it would be a water fountain in there. But it's kind of neat. I love these are a great example of the kind of tiles that they have in all throughout Portugal, but in Lisbon too. You've got 3 or 4 different kinds of tiles. There's a lot going on here, but because the arches help your eyes move in and focus, it makes the image work. And this is a kind of a neat shot because the building on the outside, even though they're not arches, you're still focusing your eye on the tram in the center. You're still going to that tram in the center. Maybe it's because of the color, but I think also it's because of the framing of the shot. The building on the outside and the guy wires kind of direct your eyes down towards the middle of the shot to see if that works for you. So, hang on. So give that stuff a shot when you are walking around. And like all the tips, not every, and this is something I know gets intimidating to new photographers, beginning photographers sometimes, is not every tip is going to work in every situation. Don't think that you have to use every single tip in every single shot you take. What you do want to do, though, is be aware of your surroundings. One of the things I tell folks is, don't just take pictures. Stop and think about the picture first. Visualize the picture first. Look around to see other elements of the picture. You could be standing at the Geronimus Monastery and see that dome and think, "Oh, I'll take a picture." But if you look around and find the arches, you'll get a better picture. If you just maybe walk 10 feet to your right or to your left to find some of those archways, to find a different angle of that dome, maybe it'll be an even better picture than the one you saw as soon as you stepped off the bus to take the picture. What's Monty? Monty says, "Oh, cool. I switched." No, wait. MacMan, I just did a Google search for Chicago to LHR, which is Heathrow. Found it for $566 US. 12 hours in Montreal flying Air Canada. 12 hours in Montreal, not bad. Air Canada, yeah, no, I'm teasing.
Sorry, it's Air Canada.
Has Air Canada gotten better or worse?
Oh my gosh, I just remember Air Canada. Yeah, I don't know if it's gotten any worse. I hope not.
I know I've never liked Air Canada. I've flown Air Canada a couple times, and I've never liked it. But for $566 US to Heathrow,
That's amazing.
because then MacMan, do a search for Air Portugal or the Portuguese airline, because I know they do direct flights out of Portugal to Lisbon, and they're fairly inexpensive too. I know the flight that we were looking at, Lisbon to Florence to Lisbon, is only about $125. So it's almost like a bus ride.
So the Air Canada is A and AA, which means the miles are worthless.
American A and AW is okay.
What does that mean? The miles are worthless? Is that like
if you want
air miles thing or
if
something?
Wants to collect air miles.
Oh. Oh.
So we are still agonizing over this decision, and I need your guys' help on this one. Okay? This is the Airbnb that go away. This is the Airbnb we want to stay at in Florence. You see that off in the distance? That's the freaking Duomo. That's the Duomo. This is a one bedroom. It's got double.
Monty.
What?
Monty's do it. Do it.
Do it. So this is. I love the. I love the brick. I wish the wall was brick. You know this.
Well, some of the places we've looked at have that exposed old brick,
Yep.
but this is old. This building is old.
So that's the same bedroom. This is the second bedroom, and again, that's the Duomo, the bell tower, out of the second bedroom off there in the distance.
It is beautiful,
This
Monty.
is the second bed, looking out towards the bathroom. That's the view from one of the bedroom windows. That's the freaking Duomo in Florence. That's how close we would be.
I love the rooftop view.
I think you might be able to throw a rock and hit the Duomo from there.
Yes.
I think you might be able to stretch out and ping the Duomo.
Yes, I want the first bedroom, Monty. Shawn can have that one.
Yeah, and there's
some.
well, it's a pull-out bed in the second bedroom. Here's the living room. The living room is kind of modern. Not so crazy with the living room, but we're not spending that much time there. So I'm not all that worried about the living room.
I think it's charming.
The wall, I love the floor in this place.
I do too.
Here's the little dining room area.
I like his idea. He's put this beautiful rug. Is that the one?
Yes.
Oh, no, he's got rugs in frames.
The tapestry on the walls. Here's a cute little kitchen. The full fridge, which you don't see often.
Look at that fridge
in these places. It's small, it's tight, but it's okay. We could definitely cook in there. He has snacks. The little Italian says, with the compliments of Casa Sicilia. So this is all stuff that you can just eat. It's all yours. It's free. Eat it. Take it.
Yeah, no, the wood floors are,
The bathrooms are, there's
Look
two
at
bathrooms.
that.
So 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. So you can have your own bathroom.
Ugh.
For the first time in your life, you can have your own bathroom.
I love that.
that's
I
out the
feel like a
kitchen window.
cat's going to come and
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No kidding.
and visit us.
That's the street outside.
Show the front door. I love the front door. Look at the front door.
The problem with shut the front door.
Shut
The problem with the front door is that leads to 5 stories of stairs.
Yeah, it's hard for Mr. King,
There
everybody.
ain't no elevator in this place. It's going to be
But
hard for both of
Leonardo
us.
likes to come and help you go up the
It's going to
stairs.
be hard for both of us.
Everybody has given just this rave reviews for this place, and people go, and the stairs are okay because it's such a great place.
Yes, but, and this is where we're going to have a problem. Oh, go away. Stop it. This is where we're going to have a problem. And Melissa, because she's wise beyond her years, go away. What is this? Go away. Because Melissa is wise beyond her years. She pointed this out. The plan was to go to Florence and then go to Lisbon. I don't know why we chose that way, but she pointed out that there's a good possibility that when we're in Florence before Lisbon, I'm going to be focused on Lisbon, on the classes and what I'm going to do next week and where we're going to go and all that kind of stuff.
He's a thinker.
So sadly. So the better idea would be if we went to Lisbon first, from the 14th to the 22nd in Lisbon in March, and then flew from Lisbon to Florence, and then back to Lisbon to get our return flight.
Because it's all done then.
It's all done then. Yeah. Great idea. Fantastic idea. Problem is, we didn't book the Casa Cecilia soon enough. And now it's booked.
As far as we know, I mean...
No, I got an email from him.
What did he... You did? What did he say?
He said it's booked. So a week after Lisbon, Casa Cecilia is booked.
Yes, but see, Monty's saying business and pleasure. We need... what I think we should do is we should look around at other places. We fell in love...
Really?
We fell in love with this place, I know, but it's about, okay, let's look around and see if we can find something else.
See, I want to book Casa Cecilia for the week before Lisbon and just deal with it. Make sure everything for Lisbon is done beforehand. The class is already done. I'm not going to be working in Florence anyway.
No.
She says indignantly.
No.
So there's no point. If everything's done the day before we leave for Florence, then I won't think about Lisbon. I'll think about, the classes but I think I can focus on being in Florence for that apartment.
Well, we can compromise and sit down for another 45 minutes or so and look at other places. And then if we don't find anything else that we love as much as Leonardo's place.
Monty says, good point. You might find an even better place. You're not going to find a better place than that close to the Duomo.
No, maybe.
No.
He's looked.
You can go to Airbnb. Anybody can do this. Any of you can go to Airbnb, do a search for Florence homes, and right there in the center of the map, you can see it's called Cathedral di Santa Maria di Fiorio. That's the Duomo. And there is nothing else within our price range that's as close as Leonardo's place.
And his reviews are wonderful.
Yep. There are places that are like $100 a night.
What's that one again?
This one is all in. It's going to be basically $100 a night. But everything else is $105 a night, $95 a night. Our budget is about, before all the fees, $80 a night, Canadian. So
Monty has a good point there.
What do you say?
Well, Monty says, good point. You might find an even better place. And then we had our discussion about you. You're not going to be working. Working? Not really. You'll be looking for a place to buy a cell phone charger, a tripod, a place to print class notes, the business cards you left on the kitchen table. Because we know you. We love you, but we know you. Oh, Monty. This is what I mean. It has to be the week after.
Okay, but wait. My class notes are all going to be prepared before I leave. All right? And there won't be anything printed. They'll be on the computer. Okay? Business cards, I won't actually need business cards because no one in the class is going to need them because they're already going to know about me. But I will also bring my business cards. I bring them all over the place. Looking to buy a cell phone charger, a tripod. I'll be carrying the tripod with me. So what he's saying is if I forget this stuff. But if I forget a tripod, I'm not going to buy another tripod because I know good tripods. I'm not going to buy a cheap tripod. I'm just going to go, shit, I forgot my tripod, move on.
I'm going to be organized. Well, I mean, I can only organize you to a point because I don't know every little, I'm not a nerd. I don't know all these little things that you need. You should start doing, you know what you should do? Starting now, you should start doing a checklist.
Yes. Well, Monty's got one right there.
Oh, no, but I mean, no, seriously, a real checklist. As it comes up, you put it down on whatever one of your electronic documents or whatever the heck. Because I don't think I've ever seen him use a pen. He had to sign the marriage certificate. And I went, my God, I've never seen him use a pen.
What is this thing?
Wow.
How do I hold this thing?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I earlier in the what are you laughing at?
MacMan, who would be left on the bed at home right next to his pants.
Yeah. Earlier in the evening, I called my wife a pillock. That was wrong of me. I apologize. I should not call my wife a pillock.
I looked it up, everyone. He pretended that he didn't know what it was, and I thought, what is it? I looked it up, and it means stupid person. Yeah. Yeah, so Monty's right. Make a list.
Sorry.
And keep me in charge of it. I think it's a very good idea.
I'm very, very sorry.
You're forgiven.
Thank you. Along with our conversation with talking about leaving ceremonies, there's a really interesting story I saw this afternoon. How much risk is good for kids? Parents make the case for more adventurous childhoods. This is a really interesting article. There is apparently a thing in New York City called, let me just send that to you guys. It's called The Yard, one of America's few adventure playgrounds. This one on a former military base just off of Brooklyn shoreline. Children as young as 6 scurry up piles of tires, pull the stuffing out of old office chairs, use tools to create and destroy whatever they wish. No parents are allowed inside. Watching this video is really interesting. If nothing else, there is this very funny picture at the top of the story. And let me just grab this and show you guys this picture. Basically, these kids are playing in a junkyard. Okay, that's what it looks like. I'm going to cover up Melissa here for a second while I show you guys this picture. There's old tires there, and there is old mannequin dummies. In the video, you see kids walking around with hammers and hand saws. There are dummies around. There's PVC piping. There's a lot of stuff here that has the potential to freak out a parent, to completely freak out some parents, myself included to a certain degree.
Not me.
And that was interesting. I called Melissa in to show her this, to tell her this story. It was really funny. Jason Akel paced outside a junkyard on Governor's Island, New York Harbor, where his son and daughter were among dozens of children gleefully dashing around with saws, hammers, and nails. "Hey, Ty, don't destroy the structure," Akel called over a fence as his son, Tyler, 12, sawed through a rickety wooden frame. "I'm not," Tyler responded, his eyes fixed on the plank as he was grinding through. "I'm improving it."
Yes!
But it brought on this conversation of, and we were saying this earlier, helicopter parents versus free-range parents. A helicopter parent is one who hovers. Monty hadn't heard the term before. It's a parent who basically their child is never further away than arm's reach.
Yeah, no risk.
No risk. The kid is in a bubble, cocoon his entire life. Mm-hmm. And then there's the opposite, which are called free-range parents. Basically the way we grew up. Mm-hmm. Now they have a name for our moms and dads called free-range.
Free-range parents.
Okay? I understand the instinct of helicoptering because in our mind, if not necessarily in reality, the world can be a scary goddamn place. And the thought of a parent, and I've been a parent for less than 6 months, and you said something yesterday. What happened with no, it was today. What happened with Rory in school today?
What happened with moving ceremony or?
The school called.
Oh, they always call. Now he was he was really dragging his feet this morning because he's like, I don't have to be there, and 65% of them weren't until this ceremony.
Yep.
So he went into school, but he didn't check in, and so if your child or if you don't phone, the school will phone you and say, "Oh, hey, Melissa, just wondering why Rory isn't at school today." And then you go, "Oh, my gosh," which I rarely do. I said, I would forget to call. He's sick. It's okay. And they go, "Great." They always check in to make sure. So they phoned me to say, "Oh, so Rory decided not to come this morning." And I went, "What?" Because and it was 10:30 and he left the house at 10 to 9. So I was freaked out.
Yeah, she came in and said, "Here's the worst conversation you can get as a parent.
Your child's not at school."
Yeah, you sent your kid off to school, and the school then calls an hour later and going, "Where is he?" Yeah. And pile that on top of, there has been at least one incident very recently here on the Sunshine Coast of some asshole trying to pick up kids. Now, we have no worry about Rory getting into a stranger's car. There's no way. We can barely get into our car. There's no way he's getting in a stranger's car. No, that doesn't mean a stranger can't grab him and throw him in a van.
That's very true.
All right?
Yeah.
So when you said that to me,
oh my God.
I was almost as freaked out as you would have been. I'm not the parent, but I'm.
Well, and then I said, "Okay, Kate, just will you phone me?" What? No. And then I spoke to her later. I said, 10 seconds, 30 seconds went by, and I had to phone the school back and go, is he there?
Yeah.
Is he there? Because I said that 30 seconds was too long for me. I had to phone back because otherwise I was going to go into action.
So I understand to a certain degree helicopter parents, but I also grew up, like a lot of us did, with free-range parents, with parents who, just be home before dark.
When the street lights come on.
Street lights come on, you make sure you're on the way
Yeah.
home. I'd be willing to bet, at least in the summertime, 95% of the time, my mother had no idea where I was.
Mm-hmm.
No clue.
Nor mine.
Isn't that a weird thing to say nowadays? Is that a bothersome thing to say nowadays?
I think it's sad. I think it's sad.
Why?
Because children need to be out solving their own problems. They need to be out dealing with potential conflict with bullies.
Yep.
They need to be out playing with things that, like playing swords with sticks and potentially poking each other in the eye. They need to be out getting dirty and taking risks and just free.
This yard thing, one of the problems I had with it, they were showing these like 6-year-old kids running around with saws in their hands
awesome.
and hammers.
Yeah.
Maybe it was awesome with all these nice, pleasant little middle class kids.
Yeah.
But what happens to the one kid who hits the other kid with a hammer? Crushes his little kid's skull.
Yeah.
Or saws his arm off.
Yeah. But it's getting extreme.
Yes.
I mean, this article that I read out of the New York Times, when I was telling you about, called The Fragile Generation.
Yes.
I think it was a suburb in Chicago. Some kid was out in the woods with tools and saws and bangers, and someone called the police.
Yeah.
And the police went and said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm building a fort." And they took everything away from him and escorted him home and returned the tools to his parents. He was building a fort in the forest. I did that all the time when I was a girl.
Utah had to change their definition of neglect, so a parent can't be arrested for allowing well-cared-for children to walk a reasonable distance alone, like home from school, even at young ages.
Mm-hmm. Well, don't you remember that story about there was a Canadian, actually?
Here in Vancouver.
He did a beautiful job of training all of his kids.
Five kids.
He did it so beautifully. You know, he would take them to the bus, like he did it all, and then he gradually faded himself out so they could go to school on the bus all together, taking care of each other. Someone called the ministry on this guy.
And the ministry came. Instead of the ministry going, don't worry about it.
Oh, no, they have to. Yeah. They have to. They're obligated to do that.
The free-range parenting movement was founded by Lenore Skenazy, a New Yorker who a decade ago was excoriated after she wrote a column in the New York Sun about allowing her then 9-year-old son to ride the subway and a bus home from the store. Is that a little extreme?
Well, I'm not in America. I don't know.
Would that be something you'd be comfortable doing in Vancouver, say? Letting Rory go on SkyTrain and a bus to get home?
Maybe not at 9. That's a bit young for me. For me, it's a bit young. Yeah.
There's a real tough thing with parents because you want your kid to be safe. You absolutely want. No one wants their child to be hurt in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Physically, emotionally, spiritually, in any way.
No.
And so your instinct is to put them in that bubble and keep them safe. And nowadays it's even easier because you can put him in a bubble by putting him in front of TV, letting him play Fortnite for 12 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
He's safe. We know where he is. You feed him salsa chips and salsa and corn chips, and this kid is going to be safe in this place. And I understand that instinct, and I really want that instinct.
That's not my instinct. It's just I would rather him out running around getting dirty.
Exactly. It's also reminds me that 99% of the stuff we worry about is never going to happen.
It's not.
There is much less crime everywhere nowadays, in North America and Canada and the U.S., than there was when we were kids. Certainly in New York City, much less crime. Minimal crime here on the Sunshine Coast. And there's something to be said, and I think, do you call it non-structured play? Is that what you call it?
Just unstructured time where they're not, because they're constantly being put into a structured sequenced scenario by every adult in their life, including parents. Then you go to school, then you've got everything is all structured. Then you go out into the playground and there's playground monitors going, you can't do that, and it's true. MacMan, what he says is true. They're pussies because they won't let the boys figure it out. They won't let them pick up a stick. The monitor will jump on them. But no. They can't pick up snow. They can't do anything. They can't do anything.
They can't pick up snow.
No.
This is Canada.
No, they cannot. They're not allowed to pick up any snow. None.
So when the kids have recess, they just sort of stand there? I mean, it seems like they're not allowed to do anything.
Well, Rory has said to me, I hate it. I hate the playground monitors, Mum. But, and also there's the question of health, not just mental health, but I talked about that longitudinal study that they did on children that were born very extremely low birth weight, premature children, and they have become, they've got cardiac problems, they're obese, because the parents are so freaked out because they were so little when they were born, and they, of course, developed slower because they were premature. And they didn't let them climb apple trees, they didn't let them do anything, and they were finding longitudinally, they were looking at them over a decade or more, and they were seeing that these kids were couch potatoes because their parents were overprotective, and helicopter parents, I guess you were calling it.
I sat in apple trees with my friend Steve, eating apples, eating our way up the apple tree so much we got sick from the apples.
Yeah.
We probably ate 10 apples, just sitting there talking, just climbing this tree. Oh, I got to climb up there to get that. And there was at least one kid I know of that fell out of the apple tree and broke an arm, whatever. But, and I don't want to sound callous, but that's part of being a kid.
So what? It doesn't matter. The doctors, the pediatricians, and the therapists at this incredible lecture that I went to said, you have to let them get out there so they break a leg. So who cares?
Monty says, okay, being a Southerner who doesn't get a lot of snow, what's wrong with throwing snowballs? Well, if you hit a kid in the eye, if you hit anyone in the eye with a snowball, you can damage an eye.
And it depends on the consistency of the snow. Sometimes snow can make snowball, and they're like rocks.
We
like
call
the
them
snowballs
ice balls.
They are wicked.
They were the best ones to throw.
Yeah.
Yeah, snow is not always light and fluffy, Monty.
Yeah, it can be brutal.
Well, even the wet snow we get here on the West Coast, you can, if you're a rotten kid, you can get that as almost as hard as a softball, as a baseball, and you throw that and hit some kid in the head, that hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Most kids don't have the aim, but still, it can hurt even if you do it by accident. And you can get rocks in the stuff. So yeah, it's bad, but it's not going to kill you.
But then they let them slide on the hill, and to me, I've seen some pretty bad things happen with a whole bunch of kids sliding on their mats going down the hill.
So there's that point where we have to allow kids to be hurt, to get hurt.
Yes.
I think there's also a point to be made that there's at least one study I've heard of, I don't think it's been confirmed by anybody, that being outside at that young age boosts your immune system. Eating dirt and playing in trees and getting wood sap in your system.
And problem solving.
No, I'm talking about health issues. Because, and you and I talked about this before, and folks in the IRC chat room can tell us about this. I don't know of a single kid who had a peanut butter allergy when I was a kid. There were no allergies that I remember when I was a kid.
Maybe bees. I remember bees.
Bees was one.
Still be allergic to bees.
But there was no food allergies when I was a kid. And yes, I'm sure there were kids with food allergies, but we didn't know of any. There weren't any signs in school saying don't let kids eat peanut butter. Don't my kid's allergic to strawberries, whatever it is. I don't remember any of that.
I don't remember it either.
I remember my mother saying, don't give little Jimmy any of your peanut butter sandwich. Or, no, you can't take peanut butter sandwiches to school because so-and-so is allergic to them. Never.
Many schools now are just peanut-free zones.
Yeah.
If
We
you have
didn't have any of that stuff.
But everything has peanuts in it now, so it's kind of...
And the argument was that because we are protecting kids so much, they don't build up these sort of tolerances to this stuff. I don't know if that's true or not. It makes sense.
I think if there was a direct link between that and these free-range kids, I think they would have told us. I don't know. Maybe that's why there's these studies going on. I don't know.
think there is a lot of value in unstructured play. When we were kids, the worst thing that ever happened to baseball was adults.
Yes, it's a true. Adults ruin everything.
We would go out and play baseball on the backs, literally the gravel lot, wasn't even sand lot, gravel dirt. We'd make our own bases. We'd pick our own teams. And yeah, the fat kid got picked last. Well, that's because he's the fat kid. He played catcher. That's what you did with the fat kid. You know, there's just this hierarchy of
yeah,
kids.
as there should be.
And we went and played, and we would play for 10, 12 hours. And then some adult thought it'd be a good idea to organize us into a little league. And little league was fucking awful. Because there were all these adults telling us where to go, how to stand, where to play, how to do this thing that we were doing just fine
Exactly.
for 10 hours yesterday.
Exactly.
You were out. Now you weren't out. You're a jerk.
That's right. It's very sad in a way.
It is. Sherry, now kids think about peanuts and die.
It's true.
It's an interesting article. If you get a chance, read the article.
Well, this one I have that I still have is fascinating,
Yeah.
and it's becoming a subject of scholars. So
I don't know if
hope
there's
for us yet.
any justification. The only thing I can fall back on is, and it sounds like, again, being an old fart, it was good enough for me, so it's good enough for you guys.
What is?
The free range kid, just go outside and play. Just stop being. You can play, and again, part of it's because we didn't have these really cool computer games when we were kids. You can play the computer game for a small period of time in summertime, but I want you outside 95% of the time. I want you poking through the dirt with a stick.
Yeah.
I want you throwing rocks at bees. Whatever it is you're going to do.
Yeah. Well, this town is. You'll see this summer. There's kids down on the dock. They're all hanging out. You know, they go down to the beach, but there's no adult in sight. So
I think it's a good thing, folks. That's it for our show tonight. If you've got thoughts about the Lisbon trip, if you're thinking about going, do you have a preference for dates? Because that might help. If someone says, "Oh, I can't make it March," it's March 15th to 22nd, or March 23rd to 30th. That's a Saturday to Saturday on both those occasions. If someone can say yes or no to that might help us out. And as I don't know if I said it during the show, the site to pay for Lisbon is going to go up sometime this week, and basically it's going to be it's $500 for the photography aspect of things. Early birds, that's before October 31st, will get $100 off each. So if there's two of you, you're going to get $200 off the course thing, which will pay for 2 nights hotel or a really, really good party at a bar in Lisbon. So it's going to be $400 each for those folks who are going to go and pay before October 31st. And as I said, October 31st is our drop dead date. So if you pay before October 31st, and for whatever reason we have to cancel, you'll get all your money back. Don't worry about that. If you pay $400 before October 31st and we cancel on or before October 31st, you'll get all your money back. After October 31st, I'm keeping it. After October 31st, we're using it to buy our plane tickets. That's what we're doing with the money to make our reservations. And hopefully we can figure out a way to go to Casa Cecilia, because I think it's beautiful. I don't think we're going to find a better place than that. I honestly don't. Really don't. Folks, as always, I want to say thanks to our good friend Jim Dalrymple of The Loop at loopinsight.com. Thanks to you guys for being tuned in, whether you're listening in live or whether you tuned in to the archive. Thanks to my beautiful wife, and again, I apologize for calling her a pillock. I'm sorry, honey. I'm so very, very sorry.
I already said I forgive you.
I'm just checking, because you might be saying that for the audience and then kick my ass after we get off the air.
Okay, everybody, I really forgive him.
Y'all wouldn't believe the shit I'm in, just in general. So just, you know me, so I'm always stepping in shit. So I got to try to step out of it whenever I can. Until next week, as always, I've been Shawn King.
I'm Melissa King.
And you've been listening to Your Mac Life. See ya!
Bye.